Business as usual has driven jobs to other states, and that's got to stop. My first priority has been to cut taxes and to make this state live within a budget that it can afford. That's why, as Speaker of the House, I led the fight to cut taxes by over $1 billion. But we have to do more. I'm Dave Jennings, and that's why I'm running for governor. Because with your help, we can get Minnesota moving again.
Jennings for governor.
Sony Betamax is now even better with a 20% sharper picture. It's Super Betamax. Same cassette, plays all the movies, but with a 20% sharper picture. And the Sound Center's price? Just $2.99. Or save on summer memories with Sony's Handycam. Just point and shoot for instant home movies and just $9.99. For the lowest prices on the newest Sony products, look for our circular in your June 11th paper. From the Sound Centers of Minnetonka, Richfield, and Roseville.
MASH, tonight on TV 11.
Good morning. You are witnessing broadcast history in the making. It was my personal privilege to first sign on Channel 11 on September 1st of 1953 with the call letters WTCN. And then again, it was my privilege to sign on Channel 11 under the Gannett Company Incorporated flag with the call letters WUSA. And this morning, it's my honor to sign on the station with the new call letters of KARE, symbolizing the care and concern the station strives to show in its programming and to our community. Now, all the better to serve 11 country. This is KARE. Good morning, 11 country.
Now, from the Action Center of the Twin Cities, News 11 Sunrise. With John Bachman, Marty Burns-Wolf, Steve Carroll on sports, and meteorologist Sally Patrick.
Well, good morning, and thank you for joining KARE and the Sunrise crew on Wednesday, June 11th.
I'm filling in for John Bachman today, who is still at the U.S. Open. We're going to see a report from him, I think, today.
Yes, having a wonderful time. Somebody did manage to get him to do a little work in front of the camera, which is good news for us this morning.
Hopefully he got out to take a few practice swings, too. But,
yes. I won't bet he has 60 degrees out there this morning like we do here. We have a lovely morning. We also have
very nice.
Sally Patrick. Good morning, Sally.
Hi, Sally.
Good morning. We do have a few clouds out there and a little bit of drizzle reported at the airport. We have showers around the state. I'll show you where they are and where they're going and how long we can expect them to hang around in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. Well, topping Sunrise, a spectacular fire overnight in Brooklyn Park.
Fortunately, the house that burned was unoccupied. Carolyn Marinan has more.
When Brooklyn Park firefighters arrived, flames had already consumed the house on County Road 30 and Zane Avenue. The house had been vacant for quite some time, and it went up quickly, lighting up the night sky. With the house engulfed in flames, firefighters stayed back to fight it, which for some is not always easy to do.
When you're trained to be a firefighter, you always want to go and put it out because that's what you're trained to, but sometimes you do have to look at the exposures and the hazards of a fire, and then you have to make a decision so you don't risk more lives. It's always a decision-making factor when you come on a scene like this.
But the decision at this fire was clear-cut.
Since this was a vacant house, firefighters let it burn, but they kept spraying water from both sides to keep ashes from flying to nearby fields and power lines.
With a constant stream of water coming from hoses and the help of earlier rains, fields were damp, and sparks fizzled when they landed. In less than an hour, the towering flames merely crackled, and the house had been reduced to charred rubble. But just to play it safe, 2 firefighters remained on the scene through the night to keep an eye on things. For Sunrise, Carolyn Marinan, News 11, Brooklyn Park.
An interesting note for you, Brooklyn Park firefighters told News 11 that the house was going to be burned down anyway in a practice session next week.
There were some tense moments for a group of swimmers as well as Minneapolis police and firefighters overnight. A boat and other crews began searching for a girl at the south end of Cedar Lake. She and her companions had been swimming when the group became concerned she hadn't returned. Hennepin County divers were called out, then canceled when the girl called police and told them she was safe. 5 people are dead this morning following a 2-truck collision in southwestern Minnesota. 3 members of a rural Edgerton family died when their pickup hit another truck just after 5 o'clock in Pipestone County yesterday afternoon. The names of the victims have not yet been released.
A suspect in a Minneapolis drugstore robbery has been charged with aggravated robbery and second-degree assault. Jay Dorman was one of the 2 men allegedly trying to rob a drugstore when he was shot by the store owner last month. A Hennepin County grand jury has decided to charge Dorman, but not pharmacist Harlow Strike, for shooting Dorman and his partner. Police are still investigating the death of an Abbott Northwestern nurse this morning. Linda Hughes was found dead at her South Minneapolis home. Police suspect the 39-year-old woman died of a drug overdose. Hughes' boyfriend told police she did take an injection of morphine only hours before her death. A hospital spokeswoman says there is no proof the drugs came from Abbott Northwestern.
In Washington, hearings focus on Galaxy Airlines. Last year, 70 Minneapolis people died when a Galaxy carrier crashed in a takeoff from Reno. The Federal Aviation Administration is being criticized for using too many inspectors to monitor Galaxy's operations and maintenance. One state representative says there are not enough inspectors to justify using so many. Minnesota bingo operations could be affected by a case now going to the U.S. Supreme Court. The court has agreed to decide whether state or local governments can regulate high-stakes bingo on Indian reservations. There are 2 Indian bingo facilities now operating in Minnesota and another scheduled to open in Duluth.
An infant who was denied a heart transplant has been given new life by a dying child this morning. Baby Jesse received a heart from a brain-dead Michigan child last night. This morning, Jesse is in critical but stable condition.
That's good news.
Yes, excellent
nice
news.
Sally Patrick is here, and, well, yesterday Warren came in and said it's going to rain, it's going to rain. It didn't really rain that much yesterday afternoon, but...
We had some heavy thunderstorms to the south and east of the cities with some golf ball-sized hail. Got pretty wild, but if you lived to the northwest of the cities, you were going, what's going on?
Yeah, did I hear that we had 2.5 inches worth of rain yesterday in Duluth?
Yes.
In Duluth, and some areas had near 5 inches up around Mille Lacs. Quite heavy rain. Many areas were lucky, though, and didn't see it. We have some rain right now around the Twin Cities, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. At the airport, it's light drizzle. The temperature is 60 degrees. Winds are out of the north at 14 miles per hour. The dew point right now is 58. The humidity is 93%, and the pressure is steady at 29.71. Live Doppler radar. Let's take a look at it. Light showers to the north of the cities up towards St. Cloud and down around Mankato. These are much lighter than those heavy thunderstorms that we had yesterday. These kind of showers will be around all day with the clouds, and these are kind of the cool type showers. Yesterday was the hot, humid, sticky thunderstorms with a high of 86 degrees. We won't be anywhere near that today with all of the clouds and showers. I think these showers will be around during the morning hours, and then through the afternoon, just mostly cloudy skies. So if you take your raincoat or umbrella to work, you won't really need it as you head home. Here's the forecast for today. We're looking for those morning showers. High temperature around 68 degrees. Wind should be out of the north at around 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then I think we'll clear out tonight, go down to 55 degrees. Thursday looks much better. We're looking for sunshine on Thursday with a high of 75 degrees. But there are more showers in the forecast, and we will have that extended forecast for you coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks very much, Sally. Well, coming up on Sunrise, Vietnam War vets are going to like the story we have about Republic Airlines.
And you may like some news we have about interest rates, too. All that and more when Sunrise continues. We'll be right back.
Long-distance phone service. Once you had no choice, but now you have a lot. Which one's right? U.S. Telecom, because we'll save you more than MCI, and we'll save you up to 40% more than AT&T. With this guarantee, if you're not satisfied, we'll switch you back to AT&T free. U.S. Telecom, it's guaranteed. Call 1-800-531-1986. U.S. Telecom, the right price.
I'm Bill Mason, your Chrysler Plymouth dealer in Excelsior. At Bill Mason Chrysler Plymouth, we offer you a large selection of new vehicles, 6.8% financing and payments to 60 months, just like the other dealers, but without the pressure. At Bill Mason's, we have top quality used cars at fair prices and award-winning service. For 64 years, we've offered customers integrity, satisfaction, and savings. Bill Mason Chrysler Plymouth, just west of 494 on Highway 7 in Excelsior.
Why spend hours cleaning and scrubbing windows and washing off baked-on dirt on your car? Use the new TurboJet water-driven rotary brush. Insert a soap stick into the handle, attach TurboJet to your garden hose, and its turbine mechanism will scrub your windows and clean your car easily and rapidly. TurboJet also comes with a special jet tip that quickly rinses away soap and dirty water. To clean almost anything around your house, get the new TurboJet water-driven rotary brush. Special extensions are also available. TurboJet is the most amazing cleaning machine you've ever used.
It's 6:08, 60 degrees right now. Energy costs are no longer the top concern among the nation's manufacturers. That's according to a new survey put out by a Chicago accounting firm. Wages and unionization are now manufacturers' biggest worries. The study found the companies are concerned about their ability to keep costs down and remain competitive with foreign producers.
Well, in our business report this morning, special fares for war veterans.
The fares only last for 3 days. Kara King is here with all the details.
Good morning, Randy. Marty.
Good morning.
Republic Airlines is offering special fares for Vietnam veterans flying between the Twin Cities and Chicago today through Friday. The airline is offering veterans $98 round-trip tickets for those attending a Welcome Home Veterans Ticker Tape Parade in Chicago on Friday. Veterans must present discharge papers dated December 1961 through May 1975 in order to be eligible for the reduced fares. In our business outlook this morning, American Motors starts talks with United Auto Workers. The company hopes to clear the way for production of Chrysler cars at its Kenosha, Wisconsin plant. AMC must make some changes in the labor contract before production can start. Eastern Airlines fortunes are changing. Less than 6 months ago, the carrier laid off 1,000 flight attendants. Now it's looking to hire 1,300 people because of increased flight schedules and high attrition. Today's lower interest rates are giving us several more options when it comes to straightening out our finances. Money reporter Steve Crowley says this may be the best time to take advantage of one of those options, your home equity.
As they approach their middle years, Tony and Suzanne Ragnow are concerned about financial security for themselves and for their son, Nicholas.
Oh, that's a nice one, yeah.
Suzanne scrapped a career running her own hairstyling salon 2 years ago to be at home with Nicholas. So they plan on building their nest egg with real estate and Tony's income alone. Home ownership has been good to the Ragnows during their 18 years of marriage. They've owned 5 or 6 homes, built up lots of equity, but in switching to one income, also piled up a lot of bills, monthly payments. So Tony and Suzanne do love the neighborhood. They want to stay for a while. The next step was to refinance their home, put some of the value or the equity in their home to work.
We now have our monthly payments between our house and our bills are about half of what they were before.
Suzanne, this sounds like the best deal ever. You lower mortgage payment, you got some cash out of the deal too.
This was a wonderful thing that happened, our refinancing and being able to do things in the house and be able to go out and shop around for more real estate.
Cashing in part of their equity was a smart move. Because they stretched the new first mortgage over 30 years, their monthly payment dropped from $800 to $600. Part of the $20,000 went to pay off other loans and charges. More money will be used to remodel their kitchen and tile the floors. But with a lion's share, more than $10,000, they'll buy more real estate, fix it up and sell it, or rent it.
Maybe in some other real estate, maybe a small duplex or maybe a 4-unit somewhere.
Now that rates are low, it is a good time to refinance. Put some of your equity to work with other investments like real estate. Paying off bills is okay too, as long as you don't run them back up again. Set up an IRA with part of this money, a good idea, but don't go on a spending spree. Steve Crowley for News 11.
And if you'd like more information about cashing in on your home equity, just write to Steve at KARE-11, 8811 Olson Memorial Highway, Minneapolis, 55427. And you'll notice the new address, too. That's a little different than the last one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Karen.
Thanks, Karen. Coming up next on Sunrise, the latest U.S. crop predictions are in, and we'll have those for you.
Yes, and we'll tell you what happened at the Le Mans Grand Prix 31 years ago today.
There are several options for American space policy. We'll tell you about those.
And the good news for the Twins is that they scored 10 runs. If that's the good news, we may be in trouble here. We'll have the rest of the story when Sunrise continues. We'll be right back.
Sony Betamax is now even better with a 20% sharper picture. It's Super Betamax. Same cassette, plays all the movies, but with a 20% sharper picture. And the Sound Center's price? Just $2.99. Or save on summer memories with Sony's Handycam. Just point and shoot for instant home movies and just $9.99. For the lowest prices on the newest Sony products, look for our circular in your June 11th paper from the Sound Centers of Minnetonka, Richfield, and Roseville.
Does your car suffer from the uh-ohs? Maaco has the answer for you. From rust, dents, crashes, to a great paint job, Maaco brings your car back to life, all for a price lower than you'd ever expect. And accident claims? It's all part of the job at Maaco.
Now, get a Supreme Paint Service, regularly $399.95, now $300. That's $100 off. Act now. This is a limited time offer. So if your car has an uh-oh, better get Maaco.
Nice home, isn't it? Well, it does have a few problems. Insects, mice, and other unwanted pests. You know, that's not unusual. Many homes can get pests. When folks give Bradley Exterminating a call for help, we offer them fast service with no fuss and no muss at a very reasonable cost. If you have a problem at your home, give Bradley Exterminating a call. If we listed the fine homes just like yours that we've serviced, you'd be amazed. Give us a chance to amaze you. Call Bradley Exterminating in the Twin Cities area, 861-4161.
60 degrees for you now at 6:14. Our own John Bachman is enjoying the best of both worlds this morning, covering a major golf tournament, which sounds something like work, I suppose. He has a look at the course where they'll be playing the U.S. Open this weekend in New York.
The site of this year's U.S. Golf Open is truly unique. It's unlike most any other American course. Good morning. For once, I'm at work and on the golf course. And what a golf course this is. It's a dramatic change from the modern layout most often bulldozed out of woods. Shinnecock Hills on Long Island is one of the oldest golf courses in the country. Built mostly by hand in 1891 with the help of the Indians for whom the course was named. Shinnecock has the look and feel of the British links course, using the natural terrain with undulating fairways.
You stand up on the tee and it all looks the same. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. It's a very difficult and challenging golf course because everything's so wide open. So your depth perception is entirely different than as opposed to being on a golf course like Hilton Head, where you have a lot of trees that round the fairways.
Normally 6,600 yards long, Shinnecock has been lengthened to over 6,900 for the Open. But the real test here is the prevailing wind off of the Atlantic. Not too bad today, but when it kicks up, this can be a very difficult course. And then there's always the element of the pressure of a major tournament.
But the one thing that you have to remember about an Open championship is there's a tremendous amount of pressure to win an Open. And usually the veteran, if a veteran gets quite close or has a chance to win, that's what the outcome of the tournament because of the pressure.
Shinnecock Hills exudes history, adding to that pressure. The second U.S. Open was held here in 1896. And it boasts the very first clubhouse. Designed by Stanford White, the nucleus of the original structure still stands, veranda and all. So the setting seems perfect for this premier golfing event, and the elite field of 156 players includes 3 Minnesotans. And tomorrow we will talk to them and see if they're ready for the opening round. John Bachman, News 11 on Long Island.
Does he look like a happy man or what?
That's a dirty job. Somebody has to do it, and John got lucky enough to do it.
I'm
Looks
so glad
nice
he's
out
there, yes, because he just loves golf so much. Well, you have good news for us this morning, right?
What was that? What are you talking about?
Uh-oh, we are going to talk about the Twins, folks.
Twins,
I don't think it's good news.
Well, they play again tonight. That's
oh,
good
that's
news.
the good news.
Last
okay.
night, not a pretty sight. The Twins' 3-game winning streak is over this morning. They lost a wild one to Texas last night at the Dome. The final score, 14-10. The two teams combined for 37 hits, a season high for the American League. The big guy with glasses, Ron Davis, took the loss. He's 1-5 on the year. Same two teams tonight at 7:30. The Never Say Die Twins spotted Texas a 5-run lead before Tim Laudner's 2-run single up the middle tied it at 5-all in the 3rd inning. In the 6th, though, Boston's Gino Petralli doubled in 2 more runs down the right field line. It goes over for a ground rule double. 2 more runs came in to Texas moved back in front 8-5. By the time Twins came back to tie it, they took the lead here when Roy Smalley singled home Gary Gaddy. That made it 9-8. But Texas jumped on Ron Davis and came back to win it 14-10. Other scores now, the Yankees over Detroit, Cleveland tipped Oakland, Chicago beat California, Milwaukee over Baltimore, Kansas City outscored Seattle, and Boston got by Toronto 4-3 in 10 innings. The Red Sox up their lead over Baltimore with a win. In the 5th now, a home run by Don Baylor. He takes care of that problem. A solo shot to left to tie the game at 3-all. Then top of the 10th, bases loaded when former Twin Mike Stenhouse will get the walk. Blue Jay pitcher Mark Eichhorn walks Stenhouse, bringing in the game-winning run as Boston sneaks past Toronto. The final score 4-3. Over in the National League now, the Dodgers shut out the Reds. San Francisco did the same to Atlanta. Houston clobbered the Padres. Montreal beat the Cardinals. Pittsburgh over Chicago. The Mets topped Philadelphia in 11 innings. The pairings are set this morning for Friday's semifinal round of the boys Class AA State Baseball Tournament. In one bracket, Hill Murray meets Creighton. Both posted opening round wins, one-run victories. They'll meet at noon Friday at the Metrodome. Creighton scored the only run of the game they would need in the 5th on a pickoff play that doesn't quite work out. The ball goes into the outfield, allowing Jeff Lester to score. It was 1-zip Creighton. That was all they would need because Creighton ace Steve Schneider was busy throwing a no-hitter as they blanked Chaska 1-zip to advance to the semifinals. And in the other bracket, Kennedy beat Duluth East and Bemidji edged Park Center in the late game, 6-5, the final there. So it'll be Kennedy against Bemidji in the semifinals. They'll take the field at the Dome Friday at about 2:30. Kennedy put together quite a comeback to advance to the finals. Duluth East jumped off to a 2-0 lead on his first inning single by Bob Marco. Duluth East pitcher Dave Marciniak was tough through the early going. He struck out Kennedy batters here Gary Nix Fan, but the Kennedy Eagles rallied to beat Duluth East. The final score was 7-5. Some basketball history to talk about this morning, as Nancy Lieberman has become the first female to play in a pro basketball in the men's regular season league. She made her debut last night playing for the Springfield Fame. Although she failed to score a point and received little playing time, she thinks it's no fluke. She's playing pro ball with the guys.
No, I don't really think it's a gimmick. Believe me, if I couldn't play basketball, I wouldn't be out here on the court. I wouldn't do it to me, and these guys certainly wouldn't allow me to be out here, and Coach Bibby wouldn't play me.
By the way, Lieberman's team beat Staten Island 122-107. In some notes, Edmonton's Glenn Sather was named NHL Coach of the Year last night, edging out North Star coach Lauren Henning.
Well, we were sort of keeping our fingers crossed for him.
Yeah, he had a good year. It just, you know, they didn't do very well in the playoffs.
I thought I saw in the paper today where it said Lauren had his speech all written out, but just didn't get a chance to read it last night.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
We can use that.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Well, this is June 11th, and it was on this day in 1955 when tragedy struck the Le Mans Grand Prix in France.
That day was the most tragic in auto racing history. Drivers from all over the world hit their accelerators at the beginning of the race. And right at the first turn, 3 cars had a slight mishap, but all 3 drivers escaped injury. 250,000 people lined the 8-mile course, but the accident happened when 2 cars collided at 100 miles an hour. One of the cars flew into the crowded grandstand, killing 82 people and injuring another 125. Mike Hawthorne of Great Britain won the Le Mans of 1955, but his victory is often forgotten in the tragedy.
It was on this day in 1920 that Ohio Senator Warren G. Harding was chosen as the dark horse Republican candidate for president. Harding became the 29th president of the United States later that year.
And we have a couple of birthdays for you today. Undersea explorer Jacques Cousteau is 76 and still swimming strong, and actor Gene Wilder is 51 and probably still doing crazy movies somewhere.
Gene Wilder's 51.
It sure is.
Yeah. Coming up, some new crop predictions are out.
And they show us that the U.S. isn't the only place having problems this year. We'll have that and more when we come back.
Stressless. 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 Relax. It's the original stressless leather recliner from Norway at Scandinavian Design. Designs for life.
Quiet, people. This is a casting session. Next is Daisy June from Oshkosh.
Too young?
Too young.
Not just any cow can be a polka dot dairy cow. We pick the finest cows to bring you the freshest dairy products.
Dottie from Fergus Falls. Oh, you're beautiful, babe.
Look for polka dot dairy products at Tom Thumb, Kenny's, and other fine stores. Dottie is yours for just $6.50 with a qualifying purchase at participating stores.
I hate these cattle calls.
And now, some simple instructions for changing your spare tire. Join the YMCA. And you'll be back on the road to a healthy lifestyle in no time. Call your local YMCA.
Hi, we're the cast of Fame. We're here to ask you to take a second look at marijuana.
New studies show that pot damages your lungs a lot more than you think, especially if you're still growing. So anyone who tells you pot's harmless is wasting their breath, whether it's school, sports, or working out.
You can't fly if you're high.
The American Lung Association.
It's 6:23, 60 degrees. There are now 9 people who've graduated from Mounds Park Academy. This is the first graduating class for the school, and it will likely go down in history as the school's smallest. A minor distinction for the seniors' hard work. Congratulations to the 9 who've graduated. Yesterday it was 68 degrees, I think, when we sat out here.
Something like that.
Yesterday it was so hot and humid. You walked outside and it smelled like you were walking into a room full of dirty socks. I mean, you couldn't breathe. It was bad
I
out
don't think
there.
I remember it like that, but yeah.
Yeah, it was it was nasty yesterday, but today, much better. We're going to get rid of that humidity. It'll be cooler and much, much more comfortable. We have drizzle right now. Temperature is 60 degrees. Winds out of the north at 14 miles per hour. Right now, the dew point is 58, humidity 93%, and the pressure is 29.71, and that is steady. Live Doppler radar shows you where the showers are right now. Light showers up towards St. Cloud, down around Mankato. Very light. They're moving to the east at around 25 miles per hour. I think we can expect to see some drizzle and some light showers through the morning hours, and then I think the showers will end. We'll have just mostly cloudy skies over the state, and the clouds and the showers will definitely keep temperatures on the cool side. They're not bad right now. Temperature right now in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, 61 degrees, 62 in Rochester with some light drizzle. These temperatures will not be coming up too much during the day, maybe about 8 degrees. If we're real lucky, it'll be a cool, kind of a cloudy day. Okay, let's take a look at the satellite picture. Thick cloud cover over the state, and it's moving much slower than what we'd like to see. We'll be cloudy all day, and I think tomorrow, finally, we'll break out into some sunshine that they have right now in the Dakotas. We'll have that tomorrow, so put off your outdoor activities until tomorrow. Today will be a good one to stay inside. Radar right now showing some nasty thunderstorms northeastern Texas into Arkansas. Yesterday there were some real heavy thunderstorms. Last night actually in eastern Iowa produced a few tornadoes and did some damage from Cedar Rapids down to around Amana. Today the heavy weather will be off to the east. Severest weather I think will be in the Ohio Valley where there's nothing right now, but it will be popping up later on this afternoon. For us, rain showers in the morning, cloudy skies, and I think we'll get into some sunshine by tomorrow. Here it is in the forecast for later on this afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies, high around 68 degrees, winds out of the north at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, clear skies, 55, a light northeast wind. And then tomorrow, not bad, mostly sunny, 75 degrees. Late on Thursday, early Friday, we have to talk about some showers coming back into the forecast. High of 69 degrees. Saturday, partly cloudy, 72, and Sunday, sunshine, 75. Right now, the weekend looks pretty good with some on and off showers before then, Marty.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sally. Well, for those of you who are just joining us this morning, from our headlines, Brooklyn Park firefighters had a few busy hours overnight. Flames had already engulfed a vacant house on County Road 30 and Zane Avenue by the time crews arrived. Firefighters doused the flames, but let the house burn to the ground. The building was supposed to be, anyway, used next week for practice burn. Jay Dorman, one of two men shot while allegedly trying to rob a northeast Minneapolis pharmacy on Memorial Day, faces charges of aggravated robbery and second-degree assault this morning. The store owner shot and killed another would-be robber. That owner does not face any charges in the case. And the parents of baby Jesse are happy people this morning. The baby did undergo heart transplant surgery overnight. Doctors now say that things look pretty good. Well, some new crop predictions are out. Randy is with farm editor Les Heen, who will tell us all about it. Gentlemen?
Thanks very much, Marty. Some of those crop predictions are low, aren't they?
Yeah, they've dropped. We can see that the Minnesota and the Midwest is not the only place that's had some tough weather, because it has shown up in wheat yields now, too, it looks like. Yeah. The winter wheat production will drop in the U.S. this year, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The USDA's latest crop forecast predict the harvest will be down 14% from last year. The average yield estimate this year, just under 37 bushels per acre. Winter wheat makes up 3/4 of U.S. wheat production. And the Soviet grain outlook is also worse. Dry weather in the USSR this spring has forced the forecast down about 3% from last month's estimate. Officials there say a smaller crop is expected for both winter and spring wheat, as well as barley and other grains. And in Minnesota, even though wheat growers have finally caught up with spring planting, they could face some different problems soon. The latest state farm advisory says wheat fields could start showing signs of leaf rust and other leaf diseases soon. Wet and humid conditions often bring on quick development of those kinds of diseases in small grains. So, Randy, we can see it's obvious that even though a lot of farmers around here needed rain over the last couple of weeks, when they do get the wet weather, there's still some problems with it.
Really? All right, thanks, Les. Well, still to come on Sunrise, we'll tell you how to find out where your charity money goes. That's next in Consumer News.
Outfits out there that have nicer facilities as far as the money that they spend to put in a theatrical store, but they're spending a lot more money to do that, and consequently their prices are higher. We have to live within a budget that allows us to sell the products at where we need to sell it at. So we feel we do the best job we can within that budget.
Shop the Priced Right sale at Menards and choose a Stanley garage door opener for Dad. On sale now. Our deluxe and premier models have time-delay lighting, safety reverse, and digital radio control. This 1/3 horsepower deluxe model offers 512 security combinations on sale now for $128.88. Plus, you'll get a free extra transmitter direct from Stanley. Dad deserves the best. Choose Stanley and save at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Don't miss the Schools Out celebration at Circus. Check out Sunday's Circus ad and join the week-long Schools Out celebration. Get 2 for 1 on bumper cars, mini golf, merry-go-round, a hot dog and Coke just 75 cents, and much more. Plus, bring in your current report card and get additional free tokens for great grades.
It's all fun and games. Circus, join the circus. Come on!
Well, in our consumer report this morning, a frozen pasta is being recalled because in most of the U.S. because it's linked to salmonella poisoning. Rotinelli Foods is recalling its entire line of Italian dishes after contamination has been found in New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. The company says it's trying to learn the source of the poisoning. The food is available in all states except Alaska and Hawaii.
A new audit shows the government falsely reassured people about the safety of millions of 1970 to 1979 Ford cars. The autos allegedly can slip from park to reverse. A Colorado representative prompted the investigation. He says people are still dying because of the transmission defect. Ford says the same problem occurs on all automatic transmission vehicles.
Well, if you're concerned about where the money you give to charity actually goes, finding out, we find out, can be relatively easy. Kirsten Lindquist has more.
Hams Across America was the latest spectacular production aimed at getting Americans to give. It raised between $50 and $100 million for America's homeless and hungry. And that money will be handed over to the people behind another big fundraiser, the video that raised millions for USA for Africa. And who keeps track of all of this? The Better Business Bureau. Well, by the end of this month, USA for Africa has to prove that at least half of what it's raised goes toward programs and not fundraising costs. Some organizations, like United Cancer, solicit a great deal of money, but don't win BBB approval because so much goes back into fundraising.
There's an awful lot of good in the charity world. There's also a lot of deception.
So if you're wondering where your charitable dollar does wind up, the Better Business Bureau wants to tell you. Kirsten Lindquist, News 11, Sunrise.
You can find out about charitable giving by writing to the Philanthropic Advisory Service, Council of the Better Business Bureau. That's 15151 Wilson Boulevard in Arlington, Virginia. The zip code is 22209. Let me give that to you again because we lost the words across the screen. It is the Council of the Better Business Bureau. It's 15151 Wilson Boulevard, Arlington, Virginia. It's 22209.
There's a new nationwide program to help Americans properly dispose of household hazardous waste like leftover paint and pesticides and cleaners. This campaign, started by the League of Women Voters, features a videotape that explains why household chemicals can be a hazard and what some communities have done to safely dispose of them.
Well, we have 60 degrees for you this morning at 6:32. For those of you who will be heading to work pretty shortly, single lanes may slow you down a little this morning. Highway 169 in Crystal from Wilshire to I-94 will be closed to a single lane in each direction until July. On County Road 18 northbound at the crosstown will also be closed to single lane after the morning rush hour, so you might expect some backups today in those places.
This is a perfect time to get a bird's eye view of what's going on out there today.
Yeah, a little soggy maybe up there this morning, but Ray Niekamp joins us now live high overhead in Sky 11. Good morning, Ray. Is it kind of gray upstairs?
It's pretty gloomy to this morning, Marty and Randy. Not rainy yet, however, but quite windy. We're taking a look at the area that we picked as the alternate to that Highway 18 block from yesterday. We're looking right now at the intersection of the Crosstown and Highway 100, north on 100 in Edina. This is going to cause some problems for motorists later on today because they're going to be shutting down one lane in each direction. That's part of a project that's going to continue into mid or late July. However, for the rush hour this morning, it's going to be in pretty good shape because all the lanes are open. We'll check back with them later on this morning.
Okay. Stay dry. Thank you very much, Mr. Niekamp.
Thanks, Ray. Jack's Restaurant was alive with the sound of music last night.
Yes, members of the Golden Strings kept grads and dads entertained throughout the evening with beautiful violin music. Some of it sounded a little like this.
Hi, Jerry Burkhardt, owner of Waterbed Warehouses. At Waterbed Warehouse, you still pay less, a lot less. And here's another good example. You can buy this beautiful bookcase waterbed, full set of 6 drawers, waveless mattress, mattress pad, full set of sheets, padded rails, this week only, $299. Remember, Waterbed Warehouses. We've been here, and we're going to be here. If you'd like to know more, call the store, 379-0504.
After this joyride, I'm out of the crash dummy business for good.
But Vince, it's a great job. Heck, they'd have to pry me away from it.
Anybody home? Larry, they do pry you away from it.
Oh, yeah.
For years, I've been eating steering wheels. For what?
To prove how safety belts save lives.
But thousands die every year in car accidents because they don't buckle up.
Vince, we're dummies. We don't wear safety belts.
Larry, you really know how to hurt a guy. Hit it!
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
I'm Barry Zivan. Watch Cash In on 11, Monday through Friday, between 3 and 7 p.m. If you know the cash amount and clue when I call, you could win $11,000 to $11,000. Phone numbers are drawn randomly from metro area phone books or from postcards. To increase your chances of winning, send your name, address, and phone number to Cash In on 11, Post Office Box 111, Minneapolis 55440. Keep watching. That's the real clue to winning. You could cash in on 11.
It's 6:35, 60 degrees right now in the Twin Cities. The Rogers Commission report has left Congress with many recommendations for formulating a new U.S. space policy. The Science and Technology Committee is looking to the leaders of the Rogers Commission for guidance, but now the report is about the only help the committee can expect to receive. Frank Bond of the Washington Bureau reports.
William Rogers went to Capitol Hill today to answer questions from the lawmakers who will decide which of the Commission's recommendations will be adopted as policy.
It is not the intention of this committee to simply rehash what the Rogers Commission has so ably accomplished. We must instead utilize the Rogers report as the basis for a new start in America's space efforts.
But in the first of a series of hearings, it was clear that many committee members had not yet read the report.
You can't read any one part of it and get an answer. You have to look at all of the report. And I think the impact of it comes from a total reading of it.
Rogers and Vice Chairman Neil Armstrong expressed their faith in the integrity of the shuttle design, of the ability of James Fletcher to turn NASA around, and in the feasibility of a launch next summer. But they also made it clear that it would be Congress, and not they, who would determine the fate of the shuttle program.
And we have to weigh very carefully what part of the program is going to involve humans and what part need not involve humans, but those are problems that you have to decide.
How do you legislate humility? How do you legislate openness? How do you legislate concern for safety?
I hope that will be accomplished in part by the report and in part by the investigation, in part by the fact that all of this became public.
The Rogers Commission earned high marks across the board for its report on the Challenger accident. Now the pressure is on the Congress to create a policy that lives up to the recommendations. Frank Bond, News 11, The Washington Bureau.
Gil Edmondson joins us this morning with some information about what's happening around the rest of the world.
Thank you, Marty. Good morning. At least 70 people have been killed in Sri Lanka by the time bombs, which blew up 2 crowded buses. The buses were blown to bits, and the death count could go higher. It happened northeast of the capital of Colombo, hit recently by a rash of bombings and attacks. Most of it has been caused by Hindus who claim discrimination by the dominant Buddhists. Doctors say the new heart beating in the chest of little Jessie Sepulveda is strong and looks good. The transplant was performed in a 4-hour operation overnight, and Reed Galen has a report from Loma Linda, California.
Dr. Leonard Bailey has performed this operation 4 times before. All of the patients have done well.
And pleased with this procedure, he said there is every reason to be optimistic about baby Jessie as well.
Things went along very well. The new heart looks like a good, normal heart. It's functioning well at present. The technical aspects of the operation went very smoothly.
The whole procedure took more than 4 hours. Once implanted, machinery began to pump blood through baby Jessie's new heart, but within half an hour, the heart was keeping up a rhythm all its own, beating at 140 beats a minute, normal for an infant.
He should make progress every hour, and hopefully within 48 hours or 72 hours, he'll be doing well. From the point of view of the operation itself, there's always the danger beyond that of infection, rejection.
As for baby Jessie's long-range prospects, Dr. Bailey said there just isn't enough perspective to answer with assurance. The first of these operations was done less than 7 months ago. This transplant was like the others, but it can hardly be described as routine. Reed Galen, NBC News, Loma Linda.
Baby Jessie, 17 days old, and hopefully now with a future. Voters in Maine have said no to an anti-pornography measure. The law would have banned the sale of obscene books, magazines, and other material across the state. An apparent dispute between a black family and their white neighbors has left at least 8 people wounded in Cleveland this morning. The black family was escorted by police out of the neighborhood after the shooting. 1 man was arrested. All of the injured are white. Police say the black family moved into the neighborhood 6 weeks ago as part of an integration plan. Since then, the family has complained of harassment. Briefly, in other news this morning, President Reagan holds a news conference tonight. Channel 11 will televise starting at 7 our time tonight. Libya's Muammar Gaddafi is expected to make his first public appearance in 2 months today. And $6,000 will be split today between an insurance company and the boy who found the money near Portland, Oregon. It was held since 1980, and it's the only money ever found from vanished skyjacker D.B. Cooper. Well, what started out as a promotion for British Airways turned into a big party. 5,700 people across the country celebrated their good fortune at winning free round-trip tickets to London from the United States. British Airways sponsored the sweepstakes to encourage Americans fearful of terrorism to travel to Europe. Airline officials say that promotion cost about $6 million. That is the old spend money to make money theory.
Yes, and it's working.
Yes, it is.
And making a lot of people happy. Okay, thank you very much, Gil. Well, Governor Rudy Perpich will appear on the Today Show this morning with Jane Pauley.
The governor's segment originates from here, the KARE studios. Jane Pauley will interview Perpich along with an official in Louisiana about pollution in the Mississippi River. You can see Perpich's interview about 7 minutes after 8 o'clock this morning right here on TV 11.
Well, it'll be nice to have the governor in the other studio this morning.
Right.
Well, in our regional notes this morning, one of our neighbors in the 5-state region had primaries.
Susan Weesey joins us from the newsroom now with all the results. Susan?
Good morning, Susan.
Good morning, Randy and Marty. In North Dakota, the primary results are in. In the Senate race, incumbent Republican Mark Andrews will face Democratic State Tax Commissioner Kent Conrad this fall. Both ran uncontested in yesterday's primary. And in the House race, Democratic candidate Byron Dorgan will seek his 4th race against Republican businessman Seaver Vinjay. Again, both there were uncontested. And the North Dakota Sunday closing issue was defeated. A proposal to limit the number of employees working at grocery stores on Sunday was voted down. The measure would have limited the number of employees from 6 to 3 as a way to restrict Sunday business. Once again, Randy and Marty, you can see that the customer is always right.
Really?
Okay, thank you, Susan.
Thanks, Susan. Well, in Iowa, a tornado briefly touched down in O'Brien County last night. No injuries reported. Thunderstorms and gusty winds downed trees in several other areas. One storm generated gusts up to 40 miles per hour with nearly a ½ inch of rain within 30 minutes.
Well, the head of Wisconsin's Social Services Agency says don't assume fraud when mistakes are made in welfare programs. Linda Revitz says many caseworkers are faced with complex cases and mistakes will happen. She says you have to assume that most people are trying to be correct in what they do. In South Dakota, an interim legislative committee meets for the first time today on the state's liability insurance crisis. To be reviewed, cost of insurance and new laws designed to combat the problem. The goal is to obtain a master insurance contract by September 1st.
In Minnesota, sirens blaring, red lights flashing, images of a police officer pulling you over. That's a scene every driver dreads. Now there's a chance you may be getting pulled over to receive not a ticket, but a safety certificate. Hundreds of motorists in northern Minnesota are being rewarded for wearing seatbelts, part of a program to encourage Minnesotans to buckle up. There's been a good response to the program put on by the State Patrol and Otter Tail Power Company. Minnesota's new seatbelt law goes into effect on August 1st. Good idea.
Yes, I think so, too. I was looking at cars passing me on the highway the other day, sort of monitoring the people who had seatbelts on. I only saw 2 or 3 who didn't.
Really?
So I think it's becoming a popular idea.
You bet.
Well, up next on Sunrise on this June 11th, we'll take a look at our top stories this morning.
And that's going to come along with weather and sports with Smiley Steve Carroll.
Get the cleaning advantage with Advantage.
I'll get started on the windows.
I'll get started on the bathroom. Where's the bathroom cleaner?
Right here.
Advantage, huh? Where's the floor cleaner?
Right here.
Advantage again? We must have a special cleaner for the nursery.
We do.
Advantage again?
Advantage every time. You can use it for appliances, laundry, carpeting, walls and woodwork, cars from top to bottom, inside and out. Advantage lifts corrosion from screen doors, windows, and lawn furniture.
Wow, is there anything you can't do with Advantage?
Well, one thing you can do is save money.
1 quart of concentrated Advantage makes up to 12 quarts of powerful all-purpose cleaner, saving you up to 60% in cleaning supplies. Scientifically formulated, USDA-approved Advantage is classified as the wonder cleaner of the 80s and beyond. Advantage is not sold in stores, so watch for your friendly door-to-door salesperson. Get the cleaning advantage with Advantage.
What do the following have in common? Famous celebrities, big bucks, quick thinking, lots of laughs, great entertainment.